What's going on, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, and it's been a long time, it seems like, even though it's been like maybe a week since I've shown you guys my Hair to Perfection. And I'm sure some of you guys have been wondering, what are you doing with this deck now, man? Like, what's going on? You guys know how I'm always changing it up, and I've made another change on it, of course. I'm always tweaking with this deck. I feel like this is one of those decks where it can just never be finished because it has so much potential and versatility in what it can do and what it can become. I'm still never going to be done with this deck. I'm going to go through probably 100 different hybrid variations and pure builds and still not know which one's the best because the deck is just so broken no matter how you build it. But this is definitely a better variation than the previous build that I showed you guys. Because it's more focused on spamming Abyss Dweller. Because I've had my problems with playing True Dracos where, they're traps. I can't negate them in Grave, so they'll just pop my Herald and I can't do anything about it. So Dweller has been like a prime staple for my deck, going first. I basically, in order to win against True Dracos now, I need Herald and Abyss Dweller. I just can't have just Herald or like a Barrier Statue anymore, stuff like that, I really need Herald and Abyss Dweller, and that's, that's my high ceiling right there. And that's what's going to give me a game against True Dracos. It's just really, really powerful. But yeah, this build is amazing. And Mrs. Radiant, I cannot wait until this card is officially legal. I just am showcasing it in my extra deck because obviously this is Herald Zodiacs, and Zodiacs abuse the crap out of this card. So yeah, let's hop right into this deck profile, you guys. You know how to do my Heralds. This is variation number 39, and I can't wait to do 40. So, of course, we are rocking. Can you guys see this? Whoops. There we go. We're rocking 3 copies of Hair to Perfection. This is the man. This is no Yu-Gi-Oh! For you. Yes, for me. This guy's just like, he puts such a thorn in your opponent's side and cripples everything he does. That every deck has a problem with Herald, no matter what deck it is. Basically, put it that way. He's the strongest boss monster in the game. No boss monster is as powerful as Herald. Not even Masterpiece. Like, Herald does way more, like, to every single deck. He's good against everything, and that's the clutch thing about Herald. He's just so broken. He's the man. And I have rechanged her name, so she's no longer Pom Pom Girl. I call her Princess Katana now. Hiya! Because I just realized, like, dude, I'm calling her Pom Pom Girl, and she has fans in her hand like Katana from Mortal Kombat. So I actually changed her nickname to Princess Katana and named her, instead of Baby Pom Pom Girl, she's officially the OG. She's Pom Pom Girl. And it makes sense because she has Pom Pom. So I just changed their nicknames basically because it makes sense. So she is now no longer Pom Pom Girl. I'm sorry, you guys. I know there's a lot of fans out here who love this deck and they love Pom Pom Girl, but she's Princess Katana now. AKA just Katana. She's so broken though. I love her. This deck searches and draws like no other. Its consistency like times 100. Practically everything in the deck searches basically or draws except for maybe, Honest, Barrier Statue, and I guess you can say Soul Charge, but it's still, everything in the deck basically is just so consistent. Every card gets you more cards. Like even Soul Charge, you can special Seraph and, search off of it. Like everything is just broken. I love how this deck is so perfect. Herald of Perfection, baby. And we're also playing 3 copies of Handy Manny. This guy's just so busted. He just gets you a lot further. You basically need 1 to 2 cards for your, 2 to 3 cards for your Herald of Perfection play. If you have pre-prep, you just need a Benton or a Manju. And if you don't have a pre-prep, you're gonna need like a Manju, a Benton, and like, a Ritual Sanctuary or something like that. Just to get to your Herald. And sometimes you don't even need Herald. Like you could just go Barrier Statue and Trident, and just off the Barrier Statue and Trident, depending on your matchup, like they just can't do anything. For example, if you're playing pure Zodiacs, they can't special summon at all, and whatever they normal, you just pop it. So it's really, really clutch. Moving forward, we are still playing, of course, the Star Seraphs. 3 copies of Staff, and also 3 copies of that Throne. The combo is really, really lit, and it helps you go in second. It increases your ceiling whether you go first or second. Just enabling you to break boards. When you perform this combo, you're gonna out 3 monsters at once. Like you're gonna pop, and then attack right over it. So just having this combo, you not only draw 3 cards, but you clear 3 cards as well, which is really broken. It's just such a busted combo. And of course, I'm still playing 2 copies of Honest. He's just such a broken fairy, and the fact that he's searchable allows you to search her out to attack over Masterpiece, because even though if he's unaffected by everything, you can still kill him by battle, which makes Honest and cards like Utopia the Lightning staples when you're playing against that deck. And 1 Barrier Statue of Heavens. I know that if Diagram is up, obviously you can't kill once per turn, you can't kill, what's his name, Masterpiece. Please don't tell me what I already know. But also remember that this is Hair to Perfection, so you're going to negate Diagram and never let it hit the field. And even so, like, it's just so easy to kill Masterpiece. Just Like, it's way too easy. But anyways, that will sum up the fairy portion of the deck. And no matter how heavy in the format, if we're going into pure true Dracos everywhere, I'm always going to play Barrier Statue at that offset chance that I run into a deck like Zodiacs, or I run into a deck like my deck, Yang Zings, you know, where it's just like they can't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! We're still playing 2 copies of Ratatouille and one Queen Cobra. I only play 3 zoos now. I'm really glad that I was able to cut Ram for this list. Because Mrs. Radiant is not legal yet, I can't really play the Ram obviously, because you can't do the zoo combo with Dryden and Emerald. But once this card is legal, you guys are going to see me add back in my Zodiac Ram, so that you can obviously just normal, you know, your rat and then do the full combo, which is really cool. So Mrs. Radiant will help you out with that. But for the time being, since Mrs. Radiant isn't legal, even though I'm showcasing it just for show, we're just running the 2 Ratatouille and the 1 Queen of Snakes, which works so perfect because I really hate drawing non-fairies, and these are the only 3 monsters that aren't fairies. And they're exceptions because they equal Dridents. Especially if your opponent has a Floodgate card like Secret Village of the Spellcasters, Anti-Spell Fragrance, especially Anti-Spell Fragrance, anything like that, that will be a problem. Your Zeus help you to just get rid of that. You know, pop the Anti-Spell, then you could just go off with all of your Herald of Perfection combos. Because this deck is very combo-oriented. You'd be surprised. Like, most of the combos actually revolve around Ritual Sanctuary. It's just such a busted field spell. But that will sum up the monster count. Moving forward, let's see if you guys can see this good. Perfect. So, of course, we're playing the preps. And every single one of these is broken in this deck specifically because you recycle every single spell. So you never run out of preps, and you honestly don't run out of targets. What I like to do with my third Dawn of the Herald, so that I can always pre-prep, is I won't banish it using its actual effect, because you can banish it and then add Benton back to hand that you tributed, you know, to get more value out of it. But just so that you can basically prolong your game state and make sure that you can grind it out, you sacrifice 1 less fairy, which is just 1 less negate, which could be crucial, but at the same time, sacrificing that 1 less fairy guarantees that you can recycle Dawn of the Herald back into your deck with Ritual Sanctuary, and your pre-preps will no longer be dead draws, they'll be live. Because I've had really long games where I basically banished all 3 of my Dawns off their effects, and then, you know, I just had dead pre-preps and I just had to discard it with Ritual Sanctuary, and I don't want to lose my pluses. Because pluses are very important, obviously, in Heralds, because the more cards you have, the more cards you can negate. Moving forward, we're also playing 3 copies of the Sauce. So the preps, I call them Juice and Berries, and obviously I call this card the Sauce. I'm playing 3 Desires no matter what. At the bare minimum, it's a spell that you can discard with the Ritual Sanctuary, but obviously Pot is just so broken. It basically, after I do all my combos, you know, I pre-prep, get my Benton, do my Stick Chair. After I Stick Chair, I'm going to do my Pot of Desires to get more pluses and make sure I end with at least 6 fairies so I can negate every single card in your hand and just kill you. In tandem with that, we're also playing 3 copies of Zodiac Barrage. The way you use this card, it can be a +1 at times. Without Ram, unfortunately, you know, we're limited to what we can do in this deck, because the only Link monster that I am running, I can't even use it legally. I can't use it in tournaments. Obviously, it's not out yet. You know, we get cards like this in Sneak Peek, but it's still not officially released. Code of the Duelist is not legal until August the 4th. So yeah, basically Zodiac Barrage at minimum is just going to be a +1, but the way you use it, it can just determine your game state, which is really broken. Barrage is just so clutch. All the spells, that's the clutch thing about this deck. Every single spell is broken and it gets you advantage. Tons of advantage at times. Like the juice, you know, the Juice and Berries and the Sauce, these are all pluses. Barrage is a plus, obviously. And even the Ties of the Brethren, which I still play at 3, this is a +2 at times. If you special summon Starchef Scepter and Honest, you get a +2. And you'll still have your Barrier Statue and you get 2 extra fairies to your hand for 2 extra negates at bare minimum. You know, if your opponent is playing a deck that summons light monsters or doesn't special summon, Tides of the Brethren still works just to add fairies from your deck to your hand. This is literally like a searcher. And I'm not lying to you. I can like literally show you right now. So you don't think that, oh, wait a minute, you just use it to get Barrier Statue. What are you talking about? No, you can special summon these guys. His effect is search. That's 1 extra fairy in your hand. Honest bounce itself. Now you have 2 additional fairies that you never had if it wasn't for Tides of the Brethren, which increases your ceiling and makes sure that you're gonna win. So Tides is really broken depending on the matchup. Obviously, if you're playing True Dracos, this is just gonna be to add more fairies, and sometimes you have to side it out. But again, like I said in a lot of my videos, True Draco is not the only deck in the world. I just hate that people make it seem like it's the only deck that exists. But anyways, 3 copies of Las Vegas. I'm gonna nickname Tides of the Brethren something awesome. I don't know, like Brotherly Love. I don't know. It's not going to be lame or cheesy or corny, but 3 copies of Las Vegas and 2 copies of Optimus Prime. I believe firmly in playing 2 Optimus Prime. In one build in the past, I think my Herald variation number 27, I ran 3 terraformings in it, but it was different because it was a pure build and it was just more focused on getting the extra pieces. But 2 Optimus Prime is perfect. If you have 1 more terraforming, you basically have 1 more way to get to your Las Vegas. But this deck draws so much and searches so much that you're always going to see this card. And this card is your win more, live more card. Whenever you activate it, you're always going to take a -1 to use its effect to search. But as long as it stays on the field, you'll generate pluses over it. You'll generate pluses off of it, which actually prolongs your game state. And you're going to end up basically, you're not going to regret taking that 1 -1 in the beginning of the duel, because later on in the duel, this card's going to become more and more clutch for you. It's going to help you out a lot to get your searches for extra fairies and to recur your Star Seraph Scepter and chain your Sovereignty from hand. So you can do the whole Star Seraph combo again. Like for example, I've stick chaired, right? And then was left with 1 Sovereignty in my deck and then searched it out and then used Ritual Sanctuary to special Scepter and then chain the chair from my hand to special and draw 1 card and then normal summoned a card like Manju. Or it's even more clutch if you have another Scepter, just normal summon, right? Because this is all special summon. And then do your whole Star Seraph combo again with only 1 chair. Because your first Star Seraph combo always requires 2 chairs. So when you're left with 1 chair, Ritual Sanctuary actually allows you to go stick chair again without accessing Daigusto Emerald. And then you just special this from grave, chain chair, you know, draw a card, and then normal summon any other level 4. And then you meet the requirements of having 3 level 4s, and then bam, XYZ, pop a card, draw a card, and just keep clearing cards and just keep going. It's just really, really broken. And of course, we're playing 3 copies of Dawn of the Herald. This spell is really, really amazing for what it does for the deck. Because once you activate it, you're going to get your Herald out, and you're also going to trigger your Princess Katana's effect. I'm so used to calling her Pom Pom Girl. You're going to trigger Princess Katana's effect, and at the same time, you're going to get Princess Katana back to your hand in addition to the other fairy you get. So just make sure that you can keep negating. It's just really, really cool. It costs basically the least resources for you to ritual summon. 2 copies of Instant Ramen. This is the new addition to my deck. Like I told you guys, I'm really trying to get Abyss Dweller out every single first turn to make sure that those spells and traps for True Dracos cannot activate in grave. So just for that matchup, and also for the Dino matchup, remember how powerful Dinos are, and also Light Swarms, because certain cards that they mill like Snow, even, you know, Trick Clown and Wolf activates when he's sent to the grave. All that stuff activates in grave, so Abyss Dweller is just a staple for this format. And I'm using Instant Ramen to help me to get to it faster. And of course, 1 Soul Charge, just because it's so broken. And you just recycle every single spell. Like I've told you guys a million times, naturally I just Soul Charge for 1. Because you're going to see Soul Charge again and you want to be able to use it again, obviously. But I'll show you guys my instant fusion target, because most will say, oh, Norden's banned, what are you doing? I'll show you guys. Extra deck, Mrs. Radius. This is just here right now until I can actually use it, but this deck abuses it pretty well because we have Zodiacs, obviously. And Chaka 9 is going to be your easy way to make Mrs. Radiant, and you can still go off with your combos after that. What you're going to need to do is just have Rat, you know, use Rat's effect special, and then summon Chaka 9 right after that, recur another monster, send Chaka 9 and your other monster that you brought off of Chaka 9, summon your Mrs. Radiant, and then stack on your Rat. And, you know, that's off of Barrage, so you can still normal summon, you can make Daigusto Emerald. It's just really, really cool. You can still do your Star Seraph combo too, so Mrs. Radiant is just broken. Darkfire Dragon, it's not a very great card. It really is just a level 4 instant fusion target that I'll play instant fusion. I'll normal summon something like Manju, overlay into Dweller, and then make my Herald of Perfection, and I'm good to go. And now they can't pop Herald because for some reason I can't negate their traps in grave, and it's very true. I'm not lying to you. It's a totally legal thing. So that's why I've actually changed my deck a little bit more to be able to compete with True Dracos. Because I've naturally bodied them, but I've had that weird occasion where they actually get to, you know, tribute their trap or pop it with an Apocalypse and then just kill my Herald. And even having double Herald, like there's ways for them to play around it. So that's why I like spamming Dwellers. So you can call this kind of like an Abyss Dweller turbo version, but obviously if the meta changes, I'm going to change my deck to better combat the meta, because this is the best deck in the world and I don't want to lose to anything. So that is the reason why I've decided to incorporate Darkfire Dragon and 2 instant fusions. You recycle this with Daigusto Emerald, and you recycle your instant fusions with Ritual Sanctuary, so you have never-ending instant fusion plays and never-ending Dwellers. We're still playing 2 copies of Daigusto Emerald, the resource manager of the deck. Managing your resources is very important because you want to play competitively, but at the same time, you want to play consistent And also, sometimes you have to be conservative. You don't want to go all the way in and waste all your resources. And then later on in the duel, when you thought you would have won, it's still not over and then you don't have anything. So Emerald is very important. That's why I play 2 and not 1. Most Zoo players have converted to just not playing this at all because they're like, oh, you can never make it. But it's pretty easy to make this in my deck. And honestly, you just want to make Herald in any random XYZ just to have next to him to increase your ceiling. Because Herald alone by himself is very, very powerful. 2 copies of Roadkill. She is so broken. Herald and Zodiac Dryden is still a powerful field. 2 copies of the Chicago Bulls. 1 Baby Buku, 1 Khan from the Jungle Book, and also 1 Bacon Bits. I had to cut my Hammer Kong, not because he's a bad card, but because I'm not running Ram Ram right now, and also I needed space for my Dark Fire Dragon and for Mrs. Radiant. So these 2 cards, you know, I had to make replacements and cut 2 cards from my extra deck to incorporate these 2, because these are absolute mandatory staples for this current format. For the Star Seraphs, we're playing Deltaros, Ouroboros, Abyss Dweller, not Star Seraph, but just Abyss Dweller, and a Fairy Cheer Girl. Now, until I see a more of a relevant rise in the Twilight Sworn build, I'm not gonna be maining my Constellar Knight Diamond. I might end up siding him, but I thought I would see more Light Sworns, but I haven't seen like enough. I haven't seen enough for Diamond to be worth the 1 slot in my extra deck, because every single slot is important. And Pom Pom Girl is just like such a clutch exception, because she's how you turn off your barrier statue so that you can special summon, you know, like you can turn off your barrier statue, overlaying to Fairy Cheer Girl, use her effect to draw, activate Zodiac Barrage, pop your Cheer Girl from your extra deck monster zone, you know, your extra monster zone, and then summon your other Zodiacs and, you know, just continue with your combos. Because once you lock your opponent out for 1 turn via either Herald of Perfection or Barrier Statue, you only need 1 turn after that for your game push. So yeah, that sums up the extra deck. So, you know, you guys, the only changes that are necessary and relevant that I recommend that you guys make are actually incorporating the instant fusions, because you need to further increase your ceiling and make sure you can get to Dweller. Sometimes I have literally used Dryden to destroy Dryden's self just to clear that extra monster zone so I can overlay into Abyss Dweller. Like via, you know, Zodiac Barrage, right? Your Zodiac Barrage will get out your Zoo, you know, your detached special summon Rat, Chaka 9, bring something back from the grave. And then you can go Dryden to pop herself. You can do that. Get rid of herself. Now you have the monster you brought back from the grave off of Chaka 9, which could be the rat you detached, which can't be used as XYZ materials. But then you have the rat that you special summon from the deck using Rat's effect. You can then normal summon because you've only used a Barrage, and then go into Abyss Dweller. I've done that at times because Abyss Dweller is that important for this format. So yeah, that sums up the main and extra deck. Of course, I always show my side deck because this is my tournament deck. This is the best deck in the world to me. I'm always going to side 3 Raw Spear Molds forever in a day, no matter what people say about this card. I have loved this card for its clutch ability to board wipe anything. Any board can be broken via Raw Spear Mold. This is the only exception. Like every single unbreakable board has to answer to Spear Mode. It doesn't matter how powerful it is. Like when Vanity's Emptiness was legal and I played DDDs, I told you guys that I raw spear moded a Crystal Wing, a Siegfried, and a whole Harbinger Titanic Galaxy, flipping Vanity's Emptiness. Dude was so confident that he had negate, and no special summoning. I raw spear moded everything and got rid of his Vanity's Emptiness, and he had no cards left. I just summoned Herald, past turn, and you know, his turn, I got my raw spear mode back, and he just scooped. He couldn't do anything. He drew his one card, I negated it. It didn't matter what card it was. Raw Spear Mode is just too powerful. I don't care what people say. I'm always going to side 3 of this. Because even dinos are so explosive, summoning Conductor, Calamities, and, you know, Giant Rex and Oviraptor. And if they miscellaneous source, you just tribute their monster. Tribute that Conductor, tribute Calamities, and tribute maybe, you know, Oviraptor. Leave that Giant Rex on field. We don't care about him. So Raw Spear Mode is just so broken for depending on the matchup. But even playing Lynx, they spam too much. Raw Spear Mode's broken. And the World Chalice archetype, it's focused on locking your zones out. They spam. They have to control at least 3 Link monsters to point at your 3 monster zones, leaving you with only 2. And you just Raw Spear Mode those hoes. So this is a staple. I don't know why people haven't been citing it, but this also makes me very unique as a player. Because at every locals I go to, I'm the only dude at locals that side decks Raw Spear Modes. Nobody else sides Raw Spear Modes. Like, I'm the only dude. Like, I'm known for Raw Spear Mode. I'm telling you guys. Even at DNA, like, people know I'm, like, the only dude that freaking sides these. And then for Kaijus, I'm actually playing the Attribute Kaijus because, I play my True King Yang Zins and my Herald of Perfection Zodiacs. Those are my 2 tournament decks. So, The reason why you see these kaijus and not the light kaiju is because for my True King Zodiac, for my True King Yangzins right here, I wanted the kaijus that match the attributes of the True Kings. You know, this is the Earth True King, this is Barastos the Fathomer, this is the Wind, Draco Phoenix, and this is obviously for Agni Mazud. So that's why I'm citing just the 4 kaijus that match the attributes of True Kings. I know that you should have the light kaiju, but again, I share my side deck with my Heralds and my True King, so I actually had to, you know, have these 4 kaijus instead of running the light one, because the light one has no synergy for their combos. Even though this is Heralds, you know, a kaiju is a kaiju, and the only difference that I would be missing out on is the 3300 beater. But then think about it, I have Honest. Having access to Honest and searching it, I can beat over anything. It doesn't matter how high its attack is. 2 Slumbers, 2 Dark Holes, 1 Raigeki, and the newest addition to my side deck is 3 Blazing Mirror Forces. People have slept on this card forever and a day, and I had realized that I had 3. And I was like, you know what? This is a replacement for regular Mirror Force, because it does exactly what regular Mirror Force does, except when you're going into time and, you know, you're going into those grind games, you can win off of this card. I'm not lying to you, especially when you're playing dinos and they spam so heavy. Like, you can just win off of this card. It's so broken. Even for True King Yangzins, like, you could just win off of this card. Like, depending on the number of monsters you kill with this, you're just going to kill your opponent. And obviously, this is a card you want to play smart, because if your life points are too low, you're not going to be able to activate this. So naturally, when I side in my Blazing Mirror Forces, the cards that I side out are actually the Ties of the Brethren, and I side out the Soul Charge, so I don't have to worry about being too low on life points to activate this. So the only life point paying spell that I'll keep is Instant Fusion, because Dweller is more important than Barrier Statue or Soul Charge most of the time. So that way, you know, I'll never really be too low on life points to resolve Blazing Mirror Force, so it doesn't hurt me. So that's the way I do it, you guys. But that sums up the deck profile. Again, this is Herald of Perfection variation number 39. I cannot wait to get to 40. You guys know how I feel about this deck and like how it has no limits. And I've proven to everybody in the world that Herald of Perfection is the most versatile deck, and there's no limit to what you can do with it. The limit is based on your mental capacity and how you think and how you are as a deck builder and a player. But me personally, I don't think that as a ritual deck player for so long, I don't think I really have any mental limits. So I can actually do any Herald build I want, and it'll be clutch and it'll be consistent. And you guys know I'm capable of doing that. So y'all show some love to the team. Be sure to check out Gerard's Card Gaming, because it's just going to become my locals. After visiting it one time, I was just like, dude, I freaking love this shop, and I'm going every single chance I get. I recommend, if you're in Houston area, check out Gerard's. It's just such a great place to be. It's really fun, and that's going to become my new locals. I'm slowly but surely converting to that. Y'all be safe. Make good choices. God bless you. Don't hurt your brain cells. Y'all take care of your families. Pay your bills on time. I love y'all. Peace.